Thank you very much, Diomedes and Eitan. Excellent introduction to this session, which will start with John Cabra, trying to exploit all the features of the ICT technology in this room with a 3D presentation. Hopefully it will go right. John right now is a professor at the State University of New York, College of Buffalo International Center of Studies in Creativity, and also adjunct at Universidad de la Sabana in Colombia. And part of a team teaching and research in the science of creativity, so exactly the mission of the conference. So John, if you're ready, you can take the...
Great, thank you very much. What I want to do in this session is to do three things. One I'd like to do is disseminate our results from an action research study where we incorporated this three-dimensional virtual world in teaching a Principles of Creative Problem-Solving course at the graduate level. The second thing I want to do is I actually want to demonstrate how we've used this three-dimensional virtual world to teach creative thinking in face-to-face or in campus-based courses. And third, I want to be able to discuss what are some of the opportunities and limitations as a result of using this three-dimensional virtual world. But I need to give you in context before I begin getting into those objectives. One, just to give you a background about my department. The presenters were all faculty members, alumni of the International Center for Studies in Creativity, which is an academic unit at the State University of New York, Buffalo State College. And we were founded in 1967, and we are the first to offer a Master of Science degree in creativity. And so we have 5 faculty members that's dedicated full-time to studying and actually teaching the science of creativity. We have a distance program for distance learners. We also have a Certificate of Creativity and Change Leadership program. And I'd like to end by also saying, with regard to this slide, that our mission is to ignite creativity worldwide. And I'll revisit that in a moment, because it's connected to what we're doing here with the 3D virtual world. This process evolved from the work of a gentleman by the name of Alex Osborne, who's considered to be the father of brainstorming. And so he develops this technique, brainstorming, but not only the technique, but he also developed the creative problem-solving process along with Cyndi Burnett. So it's evolution of the Cyndi Burnett, Alex Osborne creative problem-solving model. And so Todd Lewis talked about sequence of thought or sequence of stages. And so in each of these stages, we provide tools and techniques to ignite certain kinds of thinking. So in that blue area, we train students to ignite strategic thinking, visionary thinking, diagnostic thinking. And the orange part there, we give them tools and techniques to be able to ignite ideational thinking. And then in the green area, we give them tools and techniques to take those raw ideas and turn them into workable solutions, which we call evaluative thinking. And in the magenta part, we give them tools and techniques to engage in what we call tactical and contextual thinking as a means to not only get people to adopt change and these workable solutions, but also to implement them. That said, I want to share with you a story that impelled me to actually move into this 3D virtual world. This is my son, and this happened maybe 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago. And so he's playing this game, which is called Madden Football, and you get to manipulate players. So you either throw, block, kick the ball. And so I'm watching him, actually impressed by his ability to maneuver this game. And he says to me, "Dad, do you want to play with me or against me?" And I said, "Sure, I'll do it." So I'm doing my best to play this game. And as much as I tried to compete with him, I could not compete with him. He was just that good. And then he stopped in his very kind, gentle, tactful way, said, "Dad, thank you for playing with me, but right now I want to play against the computer." That's right. So my reaction was just like yours. Initially, it was one of laughter. And then it struck me. I was saddened, and I was sobered by the experience because I realized that if I cannot connect with my son at this age, what's going to happen when he reaches college-age years? In fact, these kind of students, these kind of kids are already in our classrooms. So I felt vulnerable. I felt like I had to do something because I have 20 more years of instruction at Buffalo State College. If I don't do something now, I'm going to be disconnected with my students when they reach our classrooms. And you know, because we've talked about the exponential growth of technology, it's expanding incredibly. And so with this vulnerability, I decided to actually start to delve into this three-dimensional virtual world. But there are other gaps. citing a couple of survey studies that came out in 2013, 32% of students are taking courses online in the US. Translate that into numbers, you got 6.7 million students that are actually taking courses online in the US, and we expect that to grow. Third thing is that the nature of our students are changing, what we call the digital natives. These are individuals that are comfortable dealing with creative collaboration in a digital format. They network, they teach each other, and so these are the people, the nature of our students that are coming into our classroom. The other thing, too, about this point is that up to this point in our program, we've been teaching creative problem-solving courses face-to-face. And we've also been using this educational platform that we call Blackboard, but it's asynchronous. And so when they were using this Blackboard platform, what we were getting from students, they're telling us that they felt isolated, they felt alienated because working in this asynchronous format was just, they were disconnected from their students, they were disconnected from the teacher. So to give you by way of example, this is our Blackboard educational platform. Students open up a folder each week, they read material, they watch a video, and they respond to a question that I post onto this. And so one of the students actually left our program and said, when I open these folders, I engage in what's called, I experience this posting traumatic syndrome. She opens up a folder, she sees all these incredible threads and all these posts, and posts from her students, and she gets overwhelmed. So that had to be fixed. And so other gaps, now talking about our mission, our mission is to ignite creativity worldwide. And here we are asking students that if you want to learn creativity and ignite your creative thinking, you have to come to Buffalo to do that. So that was running up against our mission. Second, why is that? Because we had this predominant assumption that creativity training can only be campus-based. Here's what I mean by that. So I'm going to show you pictures of our classes. On the top, you see our graduate students that have produced work and displayed as if it was in an art gallery. They can build on that work, they can move it, and so it's interactive. On the bottom left, we work in small groups. It's high energy, high interactive. And on the bottom right here, although they're not graduate students, you have children that are actually will go onto this contraption or this thing that we put on the carpet where they can place themselves according to their preference for how they like to approach the creative process, namely their cognitive style preference. And so it's interactive. The other thing, too, with regard to our classes, this is, again, this assumption that it has to happen in Buffalo. Here's our students that have just finished doing divergent thinking, brainstorming for many options using Post-its, and now they're going to start beginning the process of clustering those that are similar and then giving them a title according to what makes them similar. The other thing is that as instructors, our logistics involved a lot of props, posters, flip chart paper, and we move them around. And so that posed a problem. So what was our response? Let's try this, what I call Enter Cube. And so this is the 3D virtual world at a bird's eye view. And then you can see here the entry point to this virtual place. We have an auditorium in here so we can do presentations. We have a place to network. We have also what we call a happy hour for those people who just want to stay after class and interact. And actually somebody actually asked me to put in a bar so I can give them a clue that this is a social happy hour. And then we have small, stations here for small group work, and we have stations here to facilitate CPS. Now, here is our action research study question. Can creative collaboration be done in a 3D virtual world without losing this physical or campus-based human experiences that we were having on campus? Our answer to that question based on our experience is that yes. So I'm going to bring you back to the campus-based experience as you see in these three pictures. Now I'm going to show you the simulation of that in the 3D virtual world. And so up here, you see students coming through their avatar, and one of the students in this assignment was to adopt a scholar in the field of creativity, and they displayed all the work that was related to that scholar, and they start to have a discussion around that. On the right, on the top right, you see a way in which we can take our PowerPoint slides, convert them into photographs, serve as posters, and then we can also bring in video clips that we can watch and we can discuss. Bottom left, you see the students' output of the generation of ideas through virtual Post-its that can be manipulated, moved, and edited. And the bottom right, you might have remembered the 4 quadrants on the floor. Now we can get students to use their avatar and move them to these quadrants to learn more about their preferences and then a group profile of their students' group approach to the creative process. Now, you might have noticed that here you had video. This 3D virtual world has an ability so that when students are in class, like Skype, they're video streaming in this platform. And so you see my students there. You can also turn on the mic so you can hear them, and you can see their nonverbals, because for instructors, it's really important to pick up on these nonverbals to find out whether you're doing things well, and you need to either redirect. Okay? So I'm just going to show you by way of a... Let me see. Can you plug this in, because I'm seeing I'm running out of power. And this is the plug here. I'm going to show you a video clip, and you're going to see one of my students and her avatar, and then you see group brainstorming, and then you see some group work. And then you turn off the mic just for them to hear this.
One is where we started, the conference room table at level 1, and then group 2 is here on the third. And make your way towards the corner here, where we have Allison and Adam. And I think we have Raphael somewhere. We lost Raphael. That is Raphael. All right. And so, if you would, whoever wants to serve as a spokesperson, go right ahead and then share with me your definition.
Unifying world cultures.
Great. Other thoughts? You're doing great.
Improving communication by communicating.
Okay, so let me now get back to let me get to the results. As a result of using this three-dimensional virtual world, here's what we learned. That our students are telling us that the visual, auditory, spatial cues that are in this virtual community actually help them to recall and actually master the topic of creative problem solving and tools and techniques, as opposed to a Blackboard education platform, which is asynchronous. So watching them actually use these techniques and facilitate the creative problem solving process indicate to me that this was working. The other thing too, they felt like there was a sense of shared place. That students can come in, leave their work, and know that when they came back, that work was there. But moreover, they had a place where all the students and their classmates could come to this place, and as a result, the students were able to demonstrate naturally their behaviors, and they can practice their creative behaviors and the tools and techniques that they were learning. The other thing too, they got the strong sense of being there for learning. That means as an instructor, they felt great that they can chat to me a question while the session was ongoing. And they can also wait till after class to actually ask me questions. But the fact that I was there helped them to feel like there was a sense of being there. The other thing too that we noticed, which was an interesting surprise, students wanted to use the space as a way of decorating it. Actually, students started asking us, can you give us an office space so that we can decorate it, show others, and actually display all our work, which I thought that was an interesting thing of a dynamic that happened. What are some concerns? There's a learning curve to learn some of these features. And so as a result, it might get in the way, it might create some frustration. Depending on the quality of the internet service, it could actually make the system crawl, or it could kick you out. It was subject at times, very few in terms of my experience, to crashing and freezing. And it was hard sometimes to track who's who in this classroom when they were time to speak or to contribute. So, and the other thing too, if your equipment is not new, let's say it's 5, 6 years old, sometimes it can affect the performance of this 3D virtual world. And sometimes because they were focused on learning about the technology, that it overshadowed the learning. So in the future, what are some things that we're planning on doing? One, we want to we teach courses on social innovation, and we want to know if they go out on their field experiences and bring in photographs and their stories, will that help to serve as inspiration for them to create new ideas to address a social issue? We want to start working in teaching and helping design for Fortune 500 companies. We also want to start looking at collaborating with other universities so they can use this 3D virtual world. And we're also looking at how we can get children from the US to work with children in other countries and engage in creative collaboration. Now let me finish this. My son, although to this day I was unable to impress him with my performance on this football game, however, I was able to impress him with this when I told him that there's two companies, namely Fisher-Price Toys, which manufacture toys, and then there's Macisa, which is out of Chile, that manufacture furniture, that we were able to use this 3D virtual world to help them to put products into the marketplace. And then my son said, wow, that's pretty cool. And anyway, so This is just our contact information. I want to thank the State University of New York for providing us the grant to actually do this action research study.